What's going on, guys? In today's episode, we are going to be heading to Stonefang Tunnel, level 2-2, the Tunnel City. If you have been following my playthrough up until this point, we just recently finished 3-1, otherwise known as the Prison of Latria, and have saved Sage Freak. We are going to buy the Water Ward spell here, and that will help us with a lot of the fire type damage we are going to encounter in this level. So it's very important you have that with you if you want to get some of the rarer items. In this level, we are going to be getting our second main hand weapon that we're going to use for essentially the remainder of the game if we really wanted to. And the way we upgrade that weapon is with Dragonstone. Now, you should be able to get all of the major Dragonstone components. By that I mean chunks and pure Dragonstone from this level alone. The shards, however, you are going to need to grind to get a little bit. To get it, there are several crystal lizards like this one here that you'll see. This one I don't believe gives you any Dragonstone, but there will be others along the route that will be able to drop some. On top of that, we will also be getting... you can also buy them, rather, from the Filthy Merchant for about 3,000 souls per pop. So you might need to do a little bit of soul grinding for it, but it is worth it to get the weapon we're about to get up to level 5 as soon as possible, because it will do insane amounts of damage, and it doesn't need to require any form of scaling. So as we started the level, I took out that crystal lizard, as you saw earlier. I ran past the minecarts, which do explode, and I took down this fat official here. The Fat Official drops another Fat Official armor piece. I defeated him earlier just for a little bit of grinding, but he also usually drops Full Moon Grass, which is incredibly important because that's a great recovery item, especially when we're taking on bosses, especially for the boss of this particular level. So we turn the handle and we drop down a little bit, and we will be facing off against 2 Black Phantoms simultaneously. Now, don't be intimidated by the Black Phantoms here. They aren't really that hard to deal with, and I will show you exactly how I deal with them in just a moment. In the meantime, though, there are 2 crystal lizards down here. I am attempting to take both of them down, and I am successful in doing so. And their drops are going to be very, very important. So as you can see here, we got some clear stone, which is, whatever. No Dragonstone with these guys either. That's a darn shame. Regardless, down here we have 2 Black Phantoms. They do drop Dragonstone, so we need to take them down. They are equipped with great clubs, one-handed, and shields, so they will block more often than not, but as you can see, magic damage does a pretty good amount. So we just keep bombing them with magic damage there as best we can. We might need to use some magic recovery items, or we can just bait out their attacks. They don't really do many multiple hit attacks. They usually only attack once. So once you bait out an attack, you go in, you swing a couple of times with our Crescent Falchion. As you can see, I misjudged their tumble there. I was expecting an attack. And you can see the damage they do is pretty negligible. It's not that bad, really, even with their overhands, because they're using the weapon one-handed. Now, as soon as they switch, if they switch to a two-handed configuration, go all in, balls to the wall, and attack them, because the shield is really the annoying part with these guys. So even then, like, there's so little health left that even if they block, it won't matter, because you do overflow magic damage with the Crescent Falchion. So you pick up the items here. Dragonstone chunks, so great. Stone of Ephemeral Eyes, also great, so solid. We're going to venture down this tunnel here, and there will be a Crystal Lizard tunnel section where we can try to hit the Crystal Lizards with magic, and you're going to see I ran out of magic points here, so I am going to probably whiff on this spell when I try to hit him with it. Yep, you can see there I kind of messed that up. And I don't believe I did have some spices, so I do have some magic recovery items. You might want to actually start buying them when you go into levels, because a lot of the enemies here will be susceptible to magic, and we really want to have as much MP as possible, especially for the boss fight at the end of this level. So there are several crystal lizards here. They all drop different amounts of upgrade materials. Usually it's sharp stones and clear stones, but they're still very important to get and nice to have if you want to diversify your build at all. But I'm just killing crystal lizards here, so I'm going to speed up through this whole process, and we'll get back to once we get back on track with getting through the level. And all right, we have resumed. We're going through these tunnel areas here. Now this level, it's incredibly easy to get turned around and lost in. So make sure if you really want to stick with the walkthrough that you follow along with me here, because it's very easy to get lost. There is a explodey orb around this corner here, and if you're not paying attention, you can get blowed up for some very high fire damage. Fortunately, you're able to also dash as fast as you can around the corner and it won't hit you. Take care of the miner here with the pickaxe. Behind him is a pickup item. Or rather, two pickup items, sorry. And that's mostly just upgrade stones. Again, not necessarily anything we need if you're following my easy build, but still great to have if you want to diversify your build at all, maybe make some quality weapons. We approach our first fog gate here. And that leads us to this wide open area. Here we have a big fire beetle. The fire beetles have a chance to drop dragonstone items, so we definitely want to kill them when it is safe to do so. It is easy for flying beetles to come out of nowhere and start ganking you, so we want to avoid that. They are, however, as you can see, extremely durable. So once again, I'm going to speed things up. As long as you're standing to the side of these things, they will not do any damage to you. They only really do damage if you're standing directly in front or behind them. So as long as you're standing to the side, they can't really be damaged. The other important thing to note is when they reach 0 hit points, they do explode after a certain amount of time. So when you drop them to 0, you best be running away. Otherwise, you're going to take a lot of damage, as our poor fool, Patches the Hyena, is about to find out. Also, real quick, I also equip the Providential Ring when I'm fighting these things. It gives me a better chance of dropping Dragonstone items, which we need to upgrade the weapon we're going to find in this level. So as you can see, I defeated the fire beetle. He explodes. It nearly one-shots poor Patches, but fortunately he will survive the attack. He drops 2 Dragonstone shards, which is awesome, and we get a flame resistance ring, which will be absolutely imperative for the boss fight in this level. So down here, we're going to walk all the way to the ledge. There's really nothing here to look at or see. And then we'll run up the ramp here and collect a couple of more items. As you can see behind that cart there. And here we have a sharpstone chunk, which is, again, great if you want to get dexterity build weapons, but nothing that we desperately need. Unknown Hero Soul, which is very important for the consumable soul items. We all love those. And now we'll just simply drop down. And we'll talk to Patches, who pretty much says, you're no joke, huh? Because he, ideally, if you don't attack that beetle right away, he ends up telling you to go grab the pickup item that's across from there, which is just a club. It's a standard club. But he tries to trick you and makes you face the beetle because it drops down from above. And it attacks similarly to these flying beetles. So you can see their little stingers that come out. They don't do a whole lot of damage, especially if you're blocking. So it's not really that much of a challenge. But again, if you want to play it safe, you can stand beside to the back. They do not explode when they're defeated, but they also drop Dragonstone items. So we want to kill those beetles all the time. There will be these worm creatures that come out of the ground, as you can see here. They kind of just barf fire on you, and it does kind of hurt. So you want to make sure that you are timing your attacks with them very carefully. Now, the Soul Ray there, as you can see, I lined them up because it goes in a direct line, and it deals damage in a straight line, passes through enemies. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're able to hit them in the head, especially when they first start coming out of the ground, you can one-hit kill them because it does critical amount of damage. Crystal Lizard here, we're going to take this guy out. Hopefully he will drop more Dragonstone items. I believe the closer we get to the Lava River, the more items we'll get. Nope, more Clearstone and Sharpstones. Yay us, I guess. Now, I forgot to grab it during the walkthrough here, but up on that ledge you may have noticed a grabbable item. That is a shaded heater shield. It's a +2 shield. And it is every bit the same as the heater shield we currently have equipped. However, it also blocks a good amount of magic damage, which is a huge plus considering that our armor set doesn't really do much from a magic defense standpoint. Now these bugs, I don't really think I stick around too long to try to fight them, because there's always the opportunity that my attacks are going to carry me over the ledge and then I'll fall right in lava and die. So it's not really worth to go out of your way for Dragonstone in that regard. And here's a great example again of those worms that come out of the ground. You hit them once in the head and it kills them instantly. Didn't quite land the blow there. And if I sound like I have a sore throat, I'm sorry. It's because I'm a little bit under. I had a very, very long class prior to this recording, so that kind of threw out my voice a little bit. So I do apologize for that. Always make sure you're healed up when you can. And the next fog gate that we just went through will bring us through another set of winding tunnels. This is the area especially that becomes very easy to get lost in. So we make that first left, and then we go to the right. Now here is where another large fire beetle appears. And again, we're going to, if you just approach him, he starts kind of walking out and takes the pathway to his right, which is the one that we avoided. So you just stand to the side and you just start hauling off again. And again, I'll speed things up until this guy is defeated. Okay, now that he's defeated, he's going to explode again. So just run away, wait till you collect the souls. You can see in the top right corner there, I've collected the souls. And he drops another Dragonstone shard, which is great. Now, we drop down the the crevasse here. There's another one of those fire bugs. I don't believe I bother with the time to take him down. I try to probably take a few attacks, and I'm like, nah, this is too much work for me, especially for Dragonstone shards. So I think I give up a little of the ways in, especially after I take some damage, because the big ones do deal a ton of damage. I use some magic attacks. I see that it does a fairly decent amount of damage, but not that great. And I think I end up just saying, forget this, and move along. Or I just do it the really stylish way and wait for my bleed effect on my falchion to do the job for me. So hey, that's the super safe way of going about doing it. But again, for like 1,200 souls, it's worth the effort to put Thin and kill him. Even though I got nothing really to show for it. Clearstone chunks doesn't really do me anything. Here we have another jumping firebug that I'm going to attempt to kill. Again, I'm going to stay to the side. You can see there's more crystal lizards here. So I try to space out my attacks so that I know I'm hitting both of them. And I am going to take a little bit of damage from the fire bug. And again, nothing to show for it. So the crystal lizards really don't give you much for Dragonstone. It's usually just these creatures that you have to kill in order to get shards and chunks for our weapon that we're going to get in just a moment, actually. We're coming up on it pretty quickly. And you can see they're incredibly tanky. They take a lot of damage, but they do go down eventually. Stone of Ephemeral Eyes is the grabbable item, and another Dragonstone shard. So that's really, really good. We like those. So we're going to go down here. We're going to take a right. I think we go right away. And now we come up to this river of lava. Now the river of lava here is a large area. And this river of lava, if you stand on the lava, you take constant fire damage, and it builds up really fast. So you can die very quickly. The Burrower armor set that we just picked up is heavily resistant to fire damage, but I'm not going to equip that. I don't think I end up equipping that for the purposes of the level here. But what I will do is I'm going to head down this tunnel here on the far end of the river, and just down this little area here is our Dragon Longsword +1. That is our other main hand weapon. It deals straight fire damage and attack physical damage, and it does not scale with any stat, but the raw damage it pumps out is very good for a first-time playthrough. So for this particular part, those grabbable items along the lava river are mostly Dragonstone and pure Dragonstone, and those are really rare and something we definitely want. So I will equip the Water Veil and run out, and even with all of my flame resistance and the water defense, I barely come out of there alive, mostly because the giant beetle dude blocked my path and tried to troll me. Fortunately, I came out the other side okay. But the Water Veil defensive spell greatly increases your fire resistance. Had I equipped the Burrower armor set, I probably would have also gotten away with a lot of it as well. And here you can see there are a few more of these flying critters. I don't think I spend too much time with them because they're just a pain to hit when they're up in the air, and they never really come down that often. Unless yeah, he just barfs fire on you. It's such a pain. And then more of these creatures start coming at you pretty quickly. So it looks like I stick with the magic spells here. The other thing to keep in mind is even if you kill these guys, if they drop an item, it's hard to get, because if it lands in the lava, you have to deal with that constant fire tick damage, and that is just such a bummer to deal with. You can see I take the time to heal up here. You can see that one dies, and they both die pretty close to where I would be for armor for the set here, just far enough. I got Bear Bug Grains there. That is a new item for the Demon's Souls remake, and that also increases your fire resistance. So that is another great item to equip along with the Water Veil and your Burrower armor set to help increase your fire resistance. So very, very good stuff there. So I'm going to run down the flame thing here, pick up a Dragonstone chunk, make it back before I'm dead, heal up as best I can, and continue down the path. You can tumble into the middle islands there and take very minimal fire damage. Also, if you're running around that fire river with your shield up, it constantly blocks the fire damage. It's kind of weird how it calculates that, but it does work. And though you will burn through your stamina very quickly, so very risk versus reward. If it's for a short distance, then it's worth it. But if you're traveling a long way or attempting to cross the entire river, it's not really worth it. Okay, attempted to speed things up there. You can see I set off the big explodey trap. I'm basically just highlighting how cavernous all of these tunnels are. And at this point, I think is when I decided, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm ready to cross the lava river real quick, but also get ready to face the final boss in just a bit. So there's the big beetle dudes, and you can see that they jump, which is never fun. And here, it's just mostly, okay, I think I've grabbed just about all the items. There is one item on the lava river that I haven't picked up yet, and I'm curious to see if I picked it up on the run or not. But there is a pure Dragonstone towards the end of the lava river here. I don't think I pick it up, but it is on the lava river, and you just do the same thing. You equip the Water Veil, and you just make a break for it. If you have to clear out the big bugs, then take the time to do so, because that is the item that you would need Pure Dragonstone to upgrade from a +4 to a +5 Dragon Longsword. And that's very, very, very important, because you'll be doing upwards of 300 straight up damage every swing, and that's totally worth it against various creatures going forward. Because once you get through this level, the vast majority of creatures are at least susceptible to fire damage, and some are just straight up weak to fire damage, and that's just great. You venture down the tunnel on the right side at the far end of the river there, as you see, and we go to this area where there are more of these worms. I think I just kind of give up on them and run away. Yeah, I just kind of forget it. The boss room is actually coming up. It's just down this tunnel way here. There is one particular item if you want to run back and grab it over here to the left-hand side, and it's guarded by a couple of worms that might bark, fire on you, which, par for the course with these things. I believe there are 3 of them. Yes, so 3 of these worm things. And as you can see, I tried to get Soul Ray up, and I accidentally casted Water Veil again. But hey, at least it defends against fire damage, so the damage that they do is pretty negligible. Also, if you notice that they do stagger when you hit them, even with a standard straight-up R1 attack. So don't be intimidated if they're in between attacks, like they might barf on you. It's not really that bad of a thing to just interrupt them. The items that you get here are the Hands of God. These are fist weapons, and you can actually use them to defeat the Archdemon at the end of this level, and you will get a trophy for that if you do the finishing blow with the gloves equipped. So here we grab one more set of Stone Ephemeral Eyes, and now we get ready to face the Flame Lurker. The The Flame Lurker is without a doubt, in my opinion and for my money, the hardest boss in this game. If you can take down the Flame Lurker, you should be able to take down any boss in this game. I really mean it. Mostly because of his unpredictability. His attacks, his movements, all of his moves have different timings to them. They're all unpredictable. But with our crazy easy build, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because he is very susceptible to magic damage. And fortunately, we have Soul Ray on our side. And we have the Crescent Falchion, which should do pretty decent magic damage as well. I'm going to play the intro, I believe, throughout for the Flame Lurker. Oh no, I skip it. He doesn't deserve it. So the fight begins. He immediately dashes at you, and that's the fast attack. That's his very quick jab that he does. You can see one Soul Ray does 153 damage. The other reason why this boss fight is such a pain is because you have elemental things to consider too. His elemental, the area around the boss arena is composed of lava, and if you stand on the wrong spot, you start taking continuous fire damage. And there you can see the results of the 3 different attacks he just did. All had different timings. You have to dodge in different directions and at different times, and they all do insane amounts of damage because they're both physical and fire-based. So even with the water veil that I have, it's really hard to heal through that and to predict his movements. So basically, you're just trying to keep your distance from this boss and keep bombing him with soul spells. And sometimes he'll just kind of do this hop and skipping thing that he's doing right now and just kind of derp on you. And that's really what you would love to see because he just stands there and takes the soul rays right in the face. You just have to be careful with when you drop those spells because he does jump around and does it very frequently. So he can dodge the soul rays quite easily if you're not careful. So here I hit him again. I have all of my magic points. I heal up. Always make sure you're topped off. Even if he tickles you, always make sure your health is topped off to max because it is just so important. And he can combo you very quickly. And as the battle wears on, he gets more and more bright red and his combos become more extended and more aggressive. So you really need to be careful with him. Like right here, I'm trapped behind a corner. He only hit me once and he did, 40% of my health. So that's just insane. I don't know why I'm not healing yet. I land in the lava. I take more damage that way. If he hits me with like his jumping attack right now, I think I'm dead. So I'm definitely playing it free and loose here. I'm expecting to die. And there you can see I kind of lucked out there. He didn't land a shot on me. I still haven't healed yet. I really should have healed by now. I'm going for the attacks for the finish, and there you see it right there. I almost lost the fight because of hubris. So please play it safe when you're dealing with Flame Lurker. But I do switch up to the Crescent Falchion at the end because he gets too aggressive for me to keep a distance. And just like that, he is vanished. So if you can topple the Flame Lurker, then congratulations. He is definitely one of the hardest bosses in the game. In my opinion, he is the hardest boss in Demon Souls. Now, his boss soul, the Searing Demon Soul, you can give to Blacksmith Ed in 2-1 in that carousel that we unlocked, the elevator we unlocked in 2-1. And he will actually be able to make various special weapons out of boss souls and also upgrade various weapons as well. So very, very nice to have and give it to Ed. It's not worth consuming, I don't think. Even if you don't really get any boss soul builds, you could always just cash them in for them, so you can just say you got them, or you maybe diversify your build at all. But that essentially wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed 2-2. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe to be notified when I post more videos, and I will catch you next time.